Well, there it is, folks. That is bread pudding with a whiskey sauce and a bourbon cream topping. Absolutely perfection. It's a good one. Oh, yeah. Hello, welcome to my kitchen. This is Texas Cooking Today, and I'm Stuart. Okay, today I wanted to introduce you to a certain bread, and then B, build a wonderful recipe around that. And of course, if you've clicked on the title, you know what that is. We're going to make a beautiful bread pudding. Now, the bread, we're going to start there. This is about the sourdough harvest bread that is produced by Wildgrain. Now, Wildgrain is a company that I have started an affiliate program with, where if somebody clicks on the link in my description box and they end up purchasing a subscription, then I end up making a commission, okay? And that's how that works. Otherwise, they didn't sponsor this video. They're just providing me that opportunity. And of course, you'll be providing me that opportunity once you try that wonderful loaf. Now, folks, today I want to first introduce you to this bread, but then we're going to get into a really cool recipe, something to do with it. This is a harvest loaf that has a lot of stuff in it. In fact, let me get it real quick. There we go. Now, I would like to mention that if you like my videos, if you like my recipes, do me a favor, click the subscribe button and click that bell. That way you know when I'm going to be posting new videos, which at certain times of the year you get more videos than others. The busier the time of year, the busier I am. Now, this is a sourdough harvest bread, and this has, of course, the sourdough starter, whole wheat and wheat flour, water, pecans, cranberries, apricots, figs, candied ginger, and sea salt. Now that sounds like a whole lot of stuff that I would normally want to use in a good bread pudding. It's already just built into a single loaf. So I'm going to first follow their instructions. This comes frozen, and they say that you are supposed to preheat your oven to 450 degrees and put this on the center rack. Let me see here. Yeah, and bake for 18 to 24 minutes. So we're going to give it 18 minutes. I want to finish cooking it up, and what these are is they are par-cooked breads. And this par-cooked bread, I'm going to cook this up. I'm going to show you what it looks like inside. I want to taste some of it and define for you exactly what that is like, that experience. And then we're going to take what's left, and I'm going to build the most magnificent little dessert. And it's going to be really easy, and that's the reason I wanted to do this. I wanted to show you how you can take one of these products and turn it into a fantastic recipe just like that. Okay, so this is some eggs and cream and a little bit of flavor here and there. And I want to show you how to make a fantastic bread pudding with a bourbon sauce and a bourbon cream. Now, the bourbon cream is wonderful. It's light, wispy flavor of bourbon floating on this sweetened cream, and it is wonderful. And then, of course, the bourbon sauce. And folks, you can do this with rum. You could do it with brandy. You can do up a lot of different things. But my recipe works with just a simple bourbon. It's a whiskey sauce, okay? And very Americana. So we're going to get into this. The oven is already preheating. It's heating to 450. And I'll get this in here in just a minute. Alrighty. Now this absolutely wonderful loaf, and you can already see all of the fruit all over the place, which is a good indication of just how well loaded it really is. It's not just a few little items thrown in there. It's actually packed full of goodness. And so that's why I chose this for this recipe, because I thought, man, it already has all the stuff I would normally add to a really good bread pudding. It's already built into the bread, so it should work great. So now all I've got to do is just make a wonderful custard to make this into a pudding and then a sauce, which is really easy. I do those all the time. So let's get into it. All right, oven is preheated. There we go. I'm going to set my timer. Let me get one here for 18 minutes. Always set it on the shorter period on these because my oven bakes pretty quick. All right, in other words, it's a good hot oven. So that's what I do. And this, I guess I won't be needing the bag anymore. Folks, delicious. Absolutely fantastic tasting bread. And I can't wait to just eat a slice of it. But I can't wait also to turn this thing into a delicious, wonderful bread pudding. But there's a few things I need to get prepared first. And that would be the custard and get things measured out for the sauce. And also be prepared for making my bourbon cream. Now, bourbon cream is like a whipped cream that just has this gentle flavor of bourbon, very light in the background, floating on the surface. And it's delicious. Give it a try. Now, in addition to the harvest loaf, which I have in the oven right now, we've got 6 eggs, a cup and a half of heavy cream. This is a 1/4 cup of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of vanilla. And that is to make our custard, the custard that the bread will be floating in. Delicious. Now this over here, this is for our sauce. I've got some bourbon here. We got 6 tablespoons of butter here, a 1/3 of a cup of brown sugar, and a 1/2 of a cup of heavy cream there. And with that, we're going to be making a fantastic sauce. And then the bourbon cream, well, oh, that wonderful, delicious treat. That I'll show you here in a little bit. All right, that is my timer telling me fetch the bread. Now I'm going to need something to set it on, so I'm going to use that pan rack right there. Oh yes, beautiful. A little dark, but I'm good with this. Beautiful, beautiful. Like I said, my oven has a tendency to cook a little bit on the dark side, or a little hot. Alrighty, now, custard's simple enough. I need a whisk, my eggs, just work that cream into those eggs. My sugar, the brown sugar, I'm going to break apart just slightly before shaking it in there. Get my seasonings down in here. Very simple, delicious custard. All right, I'm getting ready to cut into this thing. Now normally if I have a bread like this that's like super crusty, I'll use a bread knife to break through that top crust, as you see me doing here. As you can see, it's quite crusty. And I do this just to make the slicing a little bit easier. Now, I find it to be a lot less messy when I use one of these, but if I start the top like that, this goes much easier. Look at that. Look at that bread. Now that is incredible looking stuff. Absolutely beautiful. That's what I'm talking about. This is going to make great bread pudding. Absolutely fantastic bread pudding. Now that. And that fruity quality hits me immediately. We got a wild grain bread pudding coming up. It's going to be a good one. That crusty quality is something that I'm looking forward to on this bread pudding. It's something I love to have in my bread puddings. I think it lends to the mouthfeel and quality of the dish. It adds a nice element to it. It also adds a flavor element that can't be denied. And look at the inside of this. Again, just loaded with stuff. Wow. Before I go putting anything into this pan, I'm just going to give it a light coating of butter. There we go. That was easy. This can all go into my pan now. Now I kind of want to get this spread out as evenly as I can. If I want to press it down a little bit, I can do that too. And in a moment, I'm going to pour all that custard right into this. I do need to kind of clean up my mess here. All right, time for the custard. This has just been sitting here, not bothering anyone, not doing anything. But I want to make sure it gets a final stirring just in case anything has settled. And pour it right on in there. Oh yeah. Oh. So here's the thing. This needs to set. It needs plenty of time to set. We're just going to let it sit there and soak everything up. And I'm going to come along and kind of move it around so I get a nice, even dispersion here. In other words, it looks like I got too much bread here and a little more custard here, but that'll be fixed by the time this is done. In the meantime, patience. And how long do I wait? Well, 30 minutes to an hour at least, and that way it softens this bread down real nice and soaks in really well and turns this into what it needs to become. All right, this has had an hour to sit and soak, and it has leveled out. I've tamped it down a little bit too, but it's looking good. Now I just got to get it right up here, get that baked up. 325 degrees, and I want to give it somewhere between probably 40 minutes to an hour. I'll be checking on it. All right, bread pudding is in the oven. Timer's running. Now, the sauce here, I start with 6 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to put a flame under that, and I'm going to want about a medium-low to begin with. All I'm looking to do is just melt the butter, and then I'm going to take my sugar, mix the two together and get them to cook together and until it comes nice and smooth. Then at that point I'm going to put in the bourbon. We're going to allow some of that alcohol to cook off for a little bit. We're going to add in the cream, bring him back up in temperature, and then we're going to have a beautiful sauce. Very, very simple. We can go ahead and get our brown sugar in at any time. There we go. Now this is simple enough. It's a matter of just get the two to combine. There we go. Now that has come up in temperature nicely. I have this beautiful thick syrup. Work that bourbon in. And we bring it right back up to temperature. Now this is the part where we're actually going to be cooking off some of the alcohol. We're not going to cook off all of the alcohol, but a good portion of it, yes, we are going to go ahead and take care of right now. And I think it's fine to have a little bit of alcohol in a dessert. It's a great way to finish a meal. Now, of course, if you have issues with alcohol, this isn't going to be the right sauce for you. And there's other sauces that can be made that are great for this, folks. One thing that you could consider, something as simple as a can of sweetened condensed milk topping your bread pudding. That's a really cool way of doing it. It's going to get you away from having any alcohol. Not just for those who are concerned about such issues. Okay, this has been cooking now for, about another 3 minutes, maybe 4. And it is looking beautiful. I've just tasted it. The flavor is spot on perfect. Now, I'm going to bring it down in temperature just a little bit. And we're going to work in the cream here in just a moment. There's no rush, but if I give this about another minute to 2 minutes, that'll be just right for adding my cream in there. All right, this has had just a couple of minutes to bring its temperature down just a little bit. Now, I'm still getting a little bit of steam, but it's not as boiling hot as it was. That is beautiful. Now if I like, I can bring this back up in temperature, and I'm going to do that, but I'm going to do so over a low flame, all right? And I'm not looking to boil it. I'm just looking to bring it back up and allow it to be warm and comfortable and a perfect topping for my bread pudding. All right, this has come back up in temperature, so I'm getting steam off of it again. And something that I'm going to suggest, so you know what you've made, get a little bit on a spoon and try that, all right? That way you know what you're making, and you might want to make adjustments, who knows? Oh my goodness. That is absolutely stunning, ladies and gentlemen. I am going to make a slight change, a little pinch of salt. I'm going to let that cook in. Flame is off, the lid goes on it. It could skin lightly, but just give it a stir and it'll be fine. All right. I'm going to take a look at this. Very light on top. I'm going to test it real quick. I have a feeling, yeah, that custard is done. You bet it. So here's the thing. I can go ahead and put this back in the oven, firm it up a little bit, but I really don't want to do that because it was already a very crusty bread. Now I've got a beautiful custard that's set up nice and firm, and this is done, and it was about 35 minutes in the cooking. Okay, getting ready to make my bourbon cream, and I need to say this, making bourbon cream is no different than making any other whipped cream, all right? What we're doing here is I'm just going to take some cream, heavy cream, and I'm going to whip it with some sugar, and that was a total of 1 cup of heavy cream and 1/4 cup of granulated sugar. And I want to combine these on a medium-low speed and allow that to just do its thing until it's well mixed. Once it is, then I'm going to speed it up at the end and get it to give us a nice, smooth, fluffy whipped cream. All right, let's take a look at this. Now, see how it's looking kind of thick and frothy, but it is not yet kind of stand up on its own. It's still liquid. It is now sweet. The sugar is dissolved into it really well, and it's only taken it a couple of minutes to get here, and it's really kind of doubled in bulk. This is the point where we can start speeding it up and turning it into a nice, beautiful whipped cream. So it was running like this earlier. Let's bump it up a notch. Now the thing of it is when you start seeing lines in the top of that, like you're seeing now, it does not take it long to get to that fully whipped stage. And here we go. Only moments it takes. And it does not take much bourbon. 1 to 2 tablespoons is all you need. In the same way vanilla extract would flavor a cream like this bourbon does the same thing, and it does it in a very attractive and handsome way. See what I'm doing there? Just tapping the inside of my whisk, and it'll knock the rest of that out. Okay. All right. Now, let's take a look here. Beautiful. That is absolutely gorgeous bread pudding. I can say I'm quite pleased with this. I want to get a centerpiece because I'm going to double up. Yeah, I'm being a bit of a pig. It's all right. I get to. Now, for my sauce. Absolutely decadent. And definitely worth the time. Now, I need a little topping over that. And it will be in the form of a beautiful bourbon cream. And there we have it, folks. That is a bread pudding that's definitely top of the list. Okay, here it is. Absolutely beautiful bread pudding with a lovely whiskey sauce and bourbon cream topping. My favorite part of the whole thing, where you get to enjoy oh man, it was everything I was hoping it would be, and then maybe a little bit more. Folks, when you try this, you'll know exactly what I mean. Oh. Okay, that's just wicked. Truly, truly good. Definitely worth your time. Do me a favor. Right underneath this, you're going to see that link for Wildgrain, and that is a monthly subscription where you can do it bi-monthly. However you want to set it up, you get to do it your way, and there's lots of options. So definitely look at that. It's a real cool deal, and you get $10 off your first box on clicking my link. Plus, hey, I get a little commission off of it, so do me that favor. Thank you very much for that. Please subscribe, click the bell so you get notified. Thumbs up on this if you would, and drop me a comment down below. Folks, have a good day and enjoy that bread pudding. Man, that sauce is heavenly.